Hi class, I'm your teacher Jennifer Schaller in English composition class, and I wanted to pass along some tips on how to be a strong online student. I've had a couple of students who told me that this is their first online class, and since I've been doing this a while, I figure I should just share with you some observations and also some info um, from the Student Resources Center on how to be a strong online student. So you can also, this web page right here can get you these tips with even more links and resources. So first tip that they talk about is to be a good online student, you want to establish a routine. Um, so they suggest setting aside time each day to complete the course readings, activities, and or assignments. But I know that for me personally, like it's hard for me. I juggle so many things to do the same thing every day at the same exact time. Um, so what I like to do is I schedule in my time to work online, either like in my phone, or I schedule in windows where I can grade your work, and that helps me to be able to turn around the material. And you have to be really self-motivated in order to do that, but I know that you guys can definitely start to develop that discipline. So I think it's helpful to schedule in the time like you would as a face-to-face class, and just schedule that time in, and that's when you return to the class each week. It doesn't have to be like in the morning, it could be at night when your kids are napping, but just make sure that you establish a routine where you're always returning to the class. Other ways you can establish a routine, you definitely want to check your messages on Blackboard and your MyCNM email account, depending on how your teacher likes to communicate. And then if required, you want to keep up with class discussions. In my class, the discussion area is used for a place where students can expand on the readings and examine them and analyze them and come up with new ideas. So to stay on top of the material, you want to be going through the discussion board and the blog area and seeing what other people have to say and chiming in with your insights. So another way to be a good distance learning student is to communicate clearly. Online, all you have access to in order to communicate is the written word. We don't communicate face to face. So you want to write clearly and concisely. Sarcasm doesn't translate well in an online area because everybody interprets language differently, and they may interpret your tone differently, and they may not see the humor in the funny thing that you said. I know because I like to be funny, but sometimes people don't think I'm funny. So definitely write clearly and concisely to avoid misunderstandings, and then also you can work in drafts. You should always double check what you post, like in a discussion board or in an email. That way you can catch little mistakes. Definitely want to avoid plagiarism, because that is a strange communication when someone says they wrote this thing that they didn't write. And then remember to email properly. Your teachers, other students, have an intro, use a, you know, transmit or communicate your information in the body of the email, and then have a closing, and be clear. And email should be a little bit formal. You don't want to be like, hey, exclamation point, sorry I wasn't in class last week. Try to just, professionalism is great online. And then also, to be a good online student, you want to participate in the class and stay connected. Especially in my class where we do interact so much with each other, I like to do this to create a community where people feel safe to express their ideas and share their observations. And that isn't possible if you can't get connected to the internet. So as a distance learning student, you do have to have access to a computer with a broadband internet connection. That is the most effective way to stay connected. But you can connect to the internet through CNMs, the computer labs, the public libraries have access to free computers. And then also, if you have a laptop or some other device, you can go somewhere and use the Wi-Fi. You can use Wi-Fi at CNM too. But if you are having trouble connecting to the class, don't give up. you can contact the distance learning achievement coach. Her name is Michelle Renteria, and she is so super helpful, and she can help you come up with ways to overcome those internet obstacles that you might encounter. And then definitely get help and ask questions. This is so important. So in the actual classroom, I'm going to move this little bubble up. So in the classroom, we have the Start Here tab in Blackboard, and it has links for advising, tutoring, tech support, online course support. Go there if you need some sort of like help from C&M outside of English class. But then also your instructor, me, I've worked here a long time, so I can help you answer questions. I can help connect you with people who could help you as well. We have academic coaches and advisors in my department, and I can connect you to them as well. So email me if you're encountering obstacles, and we can just see if there's some workaround. That way you can stay in the class and stay on top of your assignments. And then also important to being a good online student is be flexible and patient. Technology isn't perfect. It can be unpredictable, flexible as a rubber band. So try not to freak out when your internet connection drops. Just save a lot. That's one way to avoid losing material. Your browser won't display information correctly. And then communicate with me if you're having some kind of trouble. Like sometimes your browser will save something weird, save some weird script, and then you're not able to get into the login page. And you could just email me and be like, Jennifer, I'm having trouble accessing Blackboard. And I'll say, change your browser or clear your cache. Or if that doesn't help, we can get you connected to distance learning. So there's lots of different workarounds. If you can't log in, that doesn't mean that you can't go to class. It just means you have to figure out the problem. And I can help you, and so can other people as well. And then also, if the website is bugging you, don't keep clicking it because clicking too many times makes everything work slower. And then be honest, of course. Cheating, falsifying work, or plagiarism will not be tolerated. This girl right here, she doesn't tolerate cheating. And this girl, she doesn't tolerate cheating either. Neither one of us. So don't do it. We'll report you. And that's it. So thank you. If you have questions, ask. And I'll see you in our Blackboard classroom. Okay? Thanks. Everybody A pluses. That's our goal, right? Okay. So have a good week. Thanks.